Okay, hello everybody and welcome to the live stream, or if you're watching this on repeat, then welcome to the video. So I couldn't resist doing a little video resulting on a very popular film that's just released that I'm sure you've all heard of. Just want to do a full shout out before I go any further for those watching live or on repeat. I'm going to be discussing full spoilers for the film, so if you don't want to know any of the spoilers, stop watching right now and come back to the video once you've watched the film. Or if you're not too bothered about spoilers or you've already seen the film, then we can proceed. Because I was going to kind of do a little spoiler-free discussion at first, but it was probably going to be quite hard and I probably would have slipped up. So, yeah, that's why I just wanted a full, just get it out there. And it's going to be heavy spoilers. So I've got some slideshows going from the film itself, and we've also got the chat box in the right hand side, and we've got a small box of Sonic the Comic scenes playing in the background on the bottom right. Welcome everyone here that's joined the chat already. And let me start playing the slideshow. Okay, so yes, welcome everyone that's already joined the live stream. So, first impressions of the film. I thought it was brilliant. Honestly, I really enjoyed it, and it's now actually, I'm going to say, my favourite video game to movie of all time, honestly. And I've got some favourite, I know there's been a lot of terrible video game to film conversions, a lot of terrible ones. I'm not going to talk too much about terrible films, but I'm also a really big fan of the 1990s Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. I really thought they were good conversions. I really enjoyed the first Sonic film, but I really enjoyed this one a lot more. I really did. This is, definitely by far, I'd say, my favourite video game to film. It's a bit strange how we got it in the UK a week early. I don't know whether that was because maybe some of the film itself was shot in the UK. Sometimes I've seen things like that happen. You know, I know we usually get films like James Bond released earlier in the UK, but then that is like a British film series, so I don't know too much. But then you guys think you got the merchandise of this film a lot earlier than we did. We haven't got any of the movie merch out yet, other than I think the Sonic Build-A-Bears, which is the really expensive stuff. You guys have got really all the awesome merchandise out, and definitely some bits from those lines that I'm really excited to pick up. But anyway, yes. I'm hoping it will be very successful in the box office as well. I can see Sonic Stefan. I really hope so. The film is brilliant, no doubt about it. But history has taught us that a good film doesn't always necessarily mean good box office results. But we'll see. Fingers crossed it's going to turn out really well, because, you know, we want to see more of these types of films, right? And judging by the end of the film, I mean, let's just go straight for the biggest spoiler of all. I mean, let's just go straight to the end, and the fact that they teased Shadow the Hedgehog at the end. It was either going to be Shadow the Hedgehog or Metal Sonic. We knew that there was more than likely going to be one of those characters teased. Admittedly, I personally would rather have seen Metal Sonic, but I can understand Shadow the Hedgehog being used as well. I know he's a more popular character, more than, you know, maybe the director or whatever, Jeff Fowler, I believe it is, prefers Shadow the Hedgehog. So that's the direction that we are going in. I see a few people popping in there that have seen the film, that have enjoyed it. That's really good to hear. We've got a Sonic, as I can see there, popping in there. And you built the Build-A-Bear Knuckles plush. That's interesting. It does look pretty cool. I have seen some pictures of it. Yeah, the Sonic movie was it had a lot of comedy in it, but it was the right amount of comedy. It wasn't too much. The film knew when to be serious. I'm a bit concerned with what they're going to do with Robotnik going forward in the third one. They kind of left it open that he could be wrote out of the film series completely at the end. I know they're going with the Shadow the Hedgehog and probably the Space Colony arc sort of story, the next one. That doesn't necessarily mean Robotnik is going to return. I personally would love to see, Jim Carrey's Robotnik return. He absolutely did such a great job in this film. It's, I love all of Jim Carrey's films, but this has definitely become one of my favourites now. But if you haven't heard, Jim Carrey did announce he's retiring a few days ago from acting. Well, almost certainly retired. He did say that if the right script comes across, then he might, seriously think about it. But he has pretty much overall said that he is done now with acting. So I think the way that it's wrote out, the way the ending of the film plays out, they could bring Jim Carrey's Robotnik back if he did return, but they could also keep it that he's dead. So it kind of works either way with how they ended the film. Or they might just, recast him completely. So who knows, right? It was teased at the end there that you had Agent Stone amongst some of the soldiers, whether he was already confirming Robotnik's body or he had already found him. I guess that's up for possible discussion. It's really cool to see everyone's comments in here. Yeah, it is the possibility. I see some people have saying Metal Sonic in the third movie, but if Robotnik's not going to be in Robotnik's not going to be in the third film, then how would they play Metal Sonic into it? That's a tricky situation to deal with. Yeah, definitely left open for Robotnik's return. I guess it depends whether they want the role to solely be done by Jim or not. When the guy says that he's done with acting, then you kind of believe that he probably will. Yeah, Jim Carrey was very funny in that film. The first 10 minutes of the movie was such a brilliant opener to it, with him escaping the mushroom world. Yeah, I can say. Any criticism we'll go through the film entirely. I mean, any criticism I would have for the film, it would literally be clutching straws. Literally, I would be clutching straws because some of the gripes I would have with it were so minor. It didn't really bring the film down that at all. To be honest with you, it was an enjoyable flick throughout, and there was a lot of people in the cinema I was in, and there was a lot of young kids there. And you got to think that's going to be the target audience right there, really, because it's going to be parents with their kids. And every kid, I was in a big cinema, there's loads, every young child that was there, they were glued to their screens for 2 hours. And there was no noise, there was no messing around. And if you can keep the attention span of a child for 2 hours, 2 hours is quite a long time for a child to sit there and do nothing. If you can keep their attention span for that amount of time, you've done something right. And I was observing exactly people's reaction to what they were, obviously while watching the film as well, and everyone loved it. What, instead of Sonic vs Shadow, it's Shadow vs Sonic. Obviously, I think pretty much everyone picked up the gun reference from the what was his technical? What's the name of the general essentially? The Olive Garden guy. It's pretty cool to see him back in it. I didn't think he was actually going to be back in the film. When he popped up like 3/4 of the way through the film, I thought that was quite cool. I've just read your comment, Boglander 2004. Your mum asked what the hell did I just watch? It was an interesting swerve, right? I'm pretty sure everyone thought that Sonic and Tails was going to fight these people, but it was kind of like it was going to look like it was going to be a reenacting of the situation Sonic had in the first film in the bar, but then it went a completely different way with them dancing. It was very, very good. Of course, the supersonic fight with Jim Carrey's Robotnik, the Death Egg robot at the end, was spectacular to say the least. I think my only problem, and it's not with the film, and that it's with Paramount, is I've not got a problem with the film at all, really. My problem with Paramount is, and they're very known for this with their films, is they showed way too much in the trailer. Way too much. I think when you look at their most recent trailer, it essentially does show the entire film. Other than the Supersonic, which unfortunately got leaked by McDonald's, the only real spoiler I think that I didn't know was coming was the shadow thing at the end. And that's a fault of Paramount really for just showing too much in the trailer. I really wished they had kept the Robotnik absorbing the Emerald's power completely out of the trailers, because that would have been a huge surprise to see in there. They really didn't need to show that in the trailer. I think that didn't, Jim's, what he was showing in the trailer was enough. But yeah, it's a common trope really with studios and advertisement. You luckily didn't see the trailers. Well, that's good. That's good. So a lot of it would have been completely unspoiled to you. It is a shame that so many people. Well, it's just a case of the internet that there's a lot of people that want to ruin people's fun with spoilers. I mean, I know I checked some of the Twitter trends, so I didn't check. It just popped up and. You had like Shadow the Hedgehog, I think, trending, and all you had to do was click on it, and it would have that would have been the ending. Completely, you knew what was going to happen at the end. Interesting though, it didn't have an end credits scene completely at the end like the first one, because the first film had two end credits scenes, had one in the middle and one at the end, whereas this one only had one in the middle. I was expecting there to be another one at the end where maybe Robotnik returns, perhaps. Like you see his hand come out of the ground or something. But we didn't get that. There were so many Easter eggs and references to previous Sonic media. It's, I'm sure I've missed quite a lot. I'm sure there's going to be someone out there that's going to compile all the Easter eggs together in one fancy video, and we'll be able to check it all out. But there was some great stuff throughout the whole film. I was just getting to that. If I had to say one criticism over the film overall, and Sonic has just pointed it out, I think the wedding scene did go on a bit too long. I think that was the only part of the film that I think you could have trimmed down. Or if you wasn't going to trim the runtime of the film down, I would have used... still had the wedding scene in there, because there were some pretty funny moments in there, but cut it down by half and then maybe use that screen time for Sonic and Tails, because I felt like there could have been some more interactions we'd seen with Sonic and Tails, because I mean the towers are literally in the logo, and I actually think Sonic and Knuckles had more screen time together than Sonic and Tails, or at least it felt like that a little bit, or at least it might have been about the same. So if I could change one thing, I would have said, yeah, maybe just cut the wedding scene down a bit. The undercover agent was, well, it was kind of needed, I felt, because it set up the return of the general, and we got the reference to gun, which is clearly where they're going with the next film with the Shadow. But yeah, it definitely didn't need to have been stretched out as long. Yeah, the Death Egg robot design was awesome, absolutely. Yeah, Metal Sonic fans. Yeah, I don't think angry. I think maybe just slightly disappointed. But some people have said maybe he'll pop up in the next one. We don't know. Really looking forward to picking this one up in 4K when it releases. I don't know if I'm going to get the chance to go see it at the cinema again. But yeah, I mean, overall, from everything I'm seeing here in the comments, it's pretty much mostly all positive. And I went with a friend to see this. It was reasonably far away, the area I had to go to, and they're not too familiar with Sonic the Hedgehog, or they know the character. They're sort of same age group as myself, and yeah, they loved it. I thought it was brilliant. And this isn't necessarily the sort of film that the person I went with would usually go and see. So yeah, it was great. It's disappointing to see journalists slating the film, but it's also not surprising. But then, who really takes journalists serious nowadays? No one takes their opinions. No one really takes their opinions as fact nowadays. When you look at the audience score compared to the journalist scores, it's night and day. It really is. And like I said to you, when you please the target audience, which is what I kind of definitely saw at the cinema, the target audience, families, young kids, that's the target audience right there. Of course, fans are going to go to see it, but the drones and the average viewer, if you can get the average viewer to go to it and see it and enjoy it, you've won, essentially. You have won. I had a slight inkling. I've just seen TSS comment there that they was probably going to go with Shadow, because I think the director come out with a response a few days ago saying they're not going to follow the games in order. And by him saying that, kind of meant that they weren't going to do Sonic 3 with like Sonic CD or something. So yeah, so obviously I didn't know for certain they was going to go in the Shadow direction. Yes, indeed. I think when you read a lot of these critics' responses and some of these website reviewers, I'm not going to name them because that's essentially free advertisement for them, for me to speak their names here on a stream. It's honestly laughable when you see that, and then some of the negatives they've pointed out. And yeah, Bogland 2004 gets it. Look, critics usually hate on kids' films that aren't Disney or Pixar. I gotta admit, the scene where Robotnik takes the emerald at the first, really, you can really compare it to the Sonic the Comic issue where Robotnik betrays Knuckles for the first time. It's very similar. They're both in like obviously it's in the Emerald Chamber in Sonic the Comic, and in the film it's in the temple, but it's very similar. You know, Sonic and Knuckles are fighting. Robotnik betrays him. He takes the emerald and he absorbs it into him. And becomes like all powerful. I thought that was really awesome. Just how quite similar that scene was. How do you think they'll change Sonic Adventure 2 story to fit the big screen? That's a good question. It really depends if they're going to have Robotnik return. And if Jim's not going to return and they don't want to recast him, then it's not going to be Robotnik, so they're going to have to try to work it into some other way. Yeah, I'm just reading Spyro's comments there. That's a pretty fair statement. They absolutely, as with the first one, it focused more so on on Sonic, which it should have. It felt like this one they focused even more so on the Sonic characters and Robotnik, which is a good thing. It kind of felt like it was, I'd say 70% the Sonic characters. Maybe even 75% actually, and then the 25% was the human characters. Because Tom and his wife, they really don't do too much in this film. They pop up, like they've got obviously the Hawaiian wedding, and then they pop up at the end where they save Sonic, or try to, from the Death Egg robot. The Bob Beakey reference is a good one. I kind of feel like it was probably just a coincidence. But who knows, huh? Apparently the director did say, that Jeff Fowler, that they tried to surround themselves with as much Sonic media as they possibly could. Yeah, Agent Stone going crazy after losing the original Robotnik could be an interesting way. I don't think it would have, well, it clearly wouldn't have the same weight as, Jim Carrey's Robotnik, but it would be interesting. I'm sure everyone saw the Easter egg where he was looking at the outfits for Robotnik, and we saw the classic Robotnik outfit. It was only on screen for like a split second, but you must have seen it. That was pretty awesome, right? And obviously them being in the coffee shop being called Mean Bean. No, I don't think I have any problems with the human characters in the Sonic media. I'm just reading Awesome Cat's comment there. I think what the problem would be is if there was too much screen time on the human characters as opposed to the main characters. But I think the film will do well financially in terms of its box office results. Its competition at the minute is Morbius, which has been getting like appalling reviews from both critics and fans. That appears to be its competition at the minute in the cinema. So I don't know. I know a lot of people probably will like to go see Morbius just because it's a Spider-Man related character. So who knows? Yeah, the snot. I forgot that one. The snot rocket at the end, and there was a lot of references between that boss fight between the general Death Egg robot boss fight itself from Sonic and Knuckles when he's using the fingers to try to crush Sonic. That was brilliant. Definitely got Grimer vibes from Agent Stone. You know, his assistant that truly, absolutely loves his master. That was pretty awesome and very funny to see. I don't know if they'll go to an IDW story. I mean, for what it seems to be now, that they're just going to solely focus on ideas from the games and kind of make their own thing, which I'm fine with. I mean, at the end of the day, the first film was its own thing, and I thought that was brilliant. Whereas this one kind of definitely more heavily leaned upon from, you know, elements from the first film, well, a lot of elements from Sonic 2 and 3. You saw it yesterday and loved it? Well, that's great, RG761. Yeah, the end scene with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles was brilliant. Very wholesome. But interesting. What would you say was your favourite part of the film itself? Me personally, it's got to be the bit where Jim Carrey creates the Death Egg robot, and he's literally standing in that thing with all the green electricity behind him, and then they have that fight. That was brilliant. The part where Supersonic was summoning the green clouds. Interesting. I personally didn't see that as the reference to that, but I guess everyone sees things differently, right? Yeah, the baseball scene was pretty awesome, right? Yeah, the Sonic dummy scene was pretty clever. I thought that was quite funny. I did enjoy that. The uniting part with Tails and Sonic was awesome too, definitely. I think a lot of people were quite surprised with just the runtime when it was announced of the film being 2 hours, which is quite a long time for a kids' film when you think about it. I can't remember how long the runtime was for the first one, but I don't remember it being 2 hours. I'm sure it might have been an hour and a half, an hour and 40 maybe. Have no problem at all with the runtime. I thought it was brilliant, and the more Sonic on the screen, the better. There was definitely a lot of awesome Sonic and Knuckles interactions. They really did a good job with Knuckles in this film. I think Idris Elba's voice for Knuckles is pretty cool too. Yeah, so I said an hour and 40, I was quite close. Yeah, definitely. Colleen did a very good job, as always, when voicing Tails. I'm not too big on some of the newer voice actors from the games they've got for the Sonic characters, but Tails is one of the exceptions, and probably Mike Pollock's Eggman as well. To be fair, he's not the best one they've got, but yeah. Yeah, the Sonic and Tails United scene. There was definitely some good wholesome moments towards the later part. I think a lot of people that I noticed that found funny in the cinema was the part where Knuckles was reading out the text messages from Sonic while in the Mean Bean Cafe with Robotnik and Agent Stone. A lot of people found that scene very funny. I see a lot of kids and grown-ups laughing to that. Where can you watch the movie? I guess it depends what country you're living in, because the film has different release dates worldwide. Yes, indeed. ... So it appears that it was released mostly April 1st in Norway then. Not Norway, sorry, in the European area at least. America, yeah, gets it April 8th, yeah, as it's popping up on the screen right now. I just think, I know some of the American people are unhappy that they're getting it a week later. Well, Japan aren't getting it till August, so imagine having to wait that long to get it. They've got the real short end of the straw there, especially when you think Sonic's originally a Japanese IP. I know it's an American produced film, but you know, even so. Yes, indeed, poor Japan. I know, August, can you believe it? I guess it just makes no sense either, because they do dub films out there in some of the cinemas, but you know, a lot of it's subtitled, so I can't see why it would take so long for this film to be subbed and then just put out. I mean, I watch a lot of anime, and a lot of it airs like literally an hour after it's aired live with subs already, but what do I know, right? No, didn't get an April Fool's skit. Didn't get none of that. In Portugal, it's out now. Welcome, Supreme Lord Elctro. We've just been talking about the film and how brilliant and awesome it is. Who else watches anything with subs on? Pretty much all the time now. I've fully converted, at least when watching you know, things like anime and stuff. It's got to be subs now because I just don't trust these companies that do the dubs. They just change things that are not accurate. Indeed, subbing dubbing does take a long time. However, you'll notice that a lot of the bigger films, they do release simultaneously out there in Asia. Now, there was a lot of, particularly the cinema I went to, which was quite a big one. It had a lot of the, you know, it had IMAX and 4DX there, so it was a pretty big one. And they had some really awesome displays. If you saw my latest communities tab, I had to get a photo in front of that, but they had some really other cool setups and displays there for it. Someone had made like a green hill thing, made rings, probably the cinema staff, I guess, and it looked really cool. No, I didn't get the April Fool joke. That must have been an Odeon thing only. Maybe View had it as well. We have several cinema chains here in the UK. I don't know how many you'd get in America, but we have View, Odeon, Cineworld, Premiere, and there's a couple others as well out there. Yeah, Sonic X was a lot more mature in Japan. They didn't cut too much out of the dubbed version, the 4Kids version, in terms of scenes, but they heavily changed how the characters talked. There's a really comical moment from Sonic X. I say comical, it's a pretty dark moment, but just how how bad the kind of dub was in areas. The bit where Gerald Robotnik's about to be killed, he's about to be executed, and he's sitting there in a chair, and he says this speech we've all heard from Sonic Adventure 2, how you're all going to suffer and pay. And he's about to be shot dead, because that's what happens in the game. But in the 4Kids dub, he's talking, then the camera pans back to the Sonic characters, and you can hear the gunfire, shooting Gerald Robotnik. He's dead, but yeah, he's still talking, because you can hear him talking. So clearly, whoever was doing the 4Kids dub, they clearly forgot to remove the gunshot because it just sounds so ridiculous. But for those that went to View, I can see a couple of people popped up in there. They had some really awesome Sonic, I'm going to say not flyers, they're more like posters they were handing out, and I picked some of them up. I've got them in my hand right now. These are actually really awesome. I picked up a few. Might do a little community tab. It's got the scene where Sonic's running on the water, and it's advertising it in 4DX, which honestly I would have liked to have done, is to see in 4DX, which was at the cinema, but the times they were showing it in 4DX were all earlier showings, and unfortunately I was working, so I couldn't. Unfortunately, the evening showings for 4DX was Morbius, so unfortunately that kind of took over it. Yeah, I see a few people still talking about the Sonic X. It wasn't horrendous dub. I thought the voices and the voices and everything was great for it. It was just it was a common trope with anime, at least in that era, being dubbed over for us here in the West and kind of like, you know, softened up and dumbed down a bit. It was very commonly done that they do things like that. I still do have a bit of a soft spot for the dub, even though it's not totally accurate at all. I know Discotek, the publisher, or the publisher, has released a Blu-ray set of the entire series that I do want to pick up one day. I picked up their Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Blu-ray set, and that's awesome. Your view didn't have that? Maybe it was only ones that had 4DX, I'm not that sure. I'm not surprised that someone leaked the ending. It pretty much happens with any big film there. I'm just reading Ready, Set, Go's one. I mean, what was the first newest Star Wars film called? I'm not really into Star Wars anymore, or in fact I can't stand it anymore, but I know the first Disney one they released, was it The Force Awakens? I think before the film even come out, it was leaked that Han Solo dies, so it's like that got out immediately, and yeah, so the spoilers are, unfortunately, you're going to get them in most things, unfortunately. I tried my best to avoid it, but Paramount, I think, are partly to blame for showing too much in the trailers. I had no problem with Chris as well, to be honest with you. I actually, when I was originally watching the series back in the early 2000s, I actually felt quite bad for him towards the end. Yeah, Sonic X is fine. It's not the best, in my opinion, form of Sonic animation, but I do enjoy it for what it's worth. Yes, that is true. If you're technically talking anime, it is the only one. As far as I'm aware, I know they did other stuff, but if you're talking just anime, I'm just reading Supreme Lord Elktro's comments there. Personally, I think 4Kids' best work was TMNT, the 2003 series. That was brilliant. We wouldn't actually think it was done by 4Kids. It was so well done. When Sonic dies. Yeah, we seem to be getting a lot of bots now, but I'm not going to lie, I see this a lot in just general things on the internet. It's crazy, the amount of people I see get hacked on Discord and stuff, and it's, yeah. The Sonic OVA, yeah, that's brilliant. That may well be, I guess, in terms of a one product itself, may well be the very best Sonic. We're talking animation here, not like live action film. I'd probably say maybe the OVA is the best in terms of a single Sonic animated project. at least my opinion. I'm hoping Discotheque do a Blu-ray of it, and it would be nice if we could get the full uncensored version of it. There was only a few scenes that were, taken out from the DVD release, but I'd like to see the full, the full uncut version that the director intended people to see. Not, it's very common now to see censorship in products, but it would be nice if we see the full version as the director intended. Yeah, the Sonic OVA is definitely underrated. I think because it hasn't had a modern release in so many years that it'd be great. As I said, I'm hoping Discotheque do a re-release of it in Blu-ray, which will put it back in the spotlight again, which would be great to see. I'm glad someone pointed that out. Movie nerds comments. I thought immediately as soon as Jim Carrey's Robotnik started having all the green electric lightning from it, had very much callbacks to Jim Carrey's Riddler, because there's a very similar moment towards the end of Batman Forever where he's sitting there with all the power around him and he's got all the lightning and everything all around him. Definitely thought that was. I'm sure it was just coincidence, really, because obviously the Master Emerald's green, right? But yeah, I had very much remembering Batman Forever there. Do I think metallic should be in the movies? I mean, personally, I did say at the start of this video, I would have preferred they'd have gone the Metal Sonic route. They're not obviously going that route now, clearly. They might, unless they're going to have him in there as well. But if they're writing Robotnik out of this series, then how will they introduce Metal Sonic? That's the question, right? I'm sure there's ways and means that things can be wrote in and, fill in the blanks and whatever plot holes that could arise if it's not done rightly. But yes, we're going to see. I would like to see Metal Sonic in there, definitely. Yes, I'm a big fan of Batman Forever. It was actually one of the very first films I saw at the cinema. So I've got a lot of nostalgia for that film. I used to watch it literally every day on like VHS when I was like really young. Yeah, I think the new take they had of the Master Emerald, with all the Chaos Emeralds being inside it to make the Master Emerald, was actually a really cool take on it. It's cool that they did, like, kind of took elements from the source material, respectful to it, but also kind of tweaked it a little bit to make it its own thing. Am I a fan of Friday Night Funkin'? It's not particularly my sort of game, but I certainly am a fan of just how much traffic it's brought to the channel. So I'm great. I like it for that aspect. They've done a great job of promoting Sonic the Comic. So I'm very thankful to the modders of the games and who the people the kind people that have put Fleetway characters into it. I don't mind some rhythm games, so maybe if I was to get more into it and try it, I probably could get into it. Well, I've not seen a definitive report saying Jim Carrey has signed on for 3 films. I mean, until we see that in black and white, I think it's too, you can't say for certain that. What we know for certain is he come out a couple of days ago and said he's done with acting. I personally hope what you're writing there is correct, because I love Jim Carrey. I'd love to see him in every film, every Sonic film. I hope he appears in as much as possible. But time will tell. He's clearly at a stage now where he doesn't need the money, clearly. So he's only going to do the role if he truly enjoys and wants to do it. What was my favourite scene in Sonic 2? It's got to be... I think I said it a little bit earlier, but the final battle scene where Robotnik's created a Death Egg robot and he's just going on an absolute rampage, and then Sonic, Tails and Knuckles come up with their plan and they're fighting it. The Supersonic moment was cool too. Robotnik trying to, play to Sonic's weakness of using his kind heart to try to attack him from behind. I thought that was really cool. The dance fight scene was awesome too. I see someone's just mentioned that. Favourite Sonic 2 character? Are we talking just the film? I'm going to be a bit biased here, but it's got to be Jim Carrey's Robotnik. I'm a little biased. If it wasn't going to be him, I'm tempted to say Knuckles. I thought he was. I was actually really surprised because the games have, not done him any justice for a long time now. It's really felt like some good justification for Knuckles the Echidna. And I really enjoyed how he was portrayed in this, and Idris Elba's performance of it. Yeah, Jim Carrey was an amazing incarnation of Robotnik. 100%. He absolutely made that, took that role and made it his own. Just reading the comments here before I carry on. Have I tried the Nitro Pepsi yet? Is that the really strong one? Because I think I may have. I did try a really strong one once. I don't know if it was the Nitro. I didn't really like it. It was a bit too, I don't know how to say it, a bit too powerful, I think. For me, at least. They didn't go too much into Tails' background. I do think that Tails probably... I understand they had to get the right amount of screen time for all the characters, but it did feel like Tails got the least amount of screen time out of all of the main characters, excluding the human characters, of course. I don't know if Paramount really are going to care about the Shadow's past thing, because I mean Paramount eventually they're the they're not the ones creating the films. They're just they're the publisher. They're putting the money up to make it. As long as they look at it and think that it's not going to be too OTT in terms of that, I don't think they're going to really care. Paramount does indeed own SpongeBob. They've got it on their streaming service, I believe. Is it Paramount Plus or something they've called it? I don't know. Very excited to when we finally get some of the Sonic movie merch. I'm definitely going to be picking some of it up, especially the Robotnik figures. If Jim doesn't return for any of the other films, then those Robotnik figures are definitely going to be very limited because I can't see them getting like more variants of them. So I really want to pick some of those up. Danny DeVito for Gerald Robotnik. That actually would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? He kind of looks a bit like him as well now, right? I mean, I think if they're going to loosely go for the Sonic Adventure 2 storyline, I think they could really make it work. Let's just say for all intents and purposes, they managed to somehow get Jim Carrey back on board. That would be a great way for, you know, towards the end of that film, for him and Sonic to have to work together to defeat the ultimate foe, you know. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, as they say. I think that would be a great way, and then maybe do a proper send-off to it to that way, if they're going to go for like how the Sonic Adventure 2 storyline plays towards the end. Yeah, I see T-Mac is comment. It's a tricky one, right? When you've got so many characters in a film, it's hard to get the right amount of screen time for all of them, which is why it's definitely a good thing to not have too over-bloated. Was this Metal Sonic guy? And yeah, I believe, isn't it Metal Sonic Kai? I think Mango Draws has just pointed out there. I know, obviously, the Sonic the Comic version, he's known as the Emperor Metallics. So yeah, we've just hit the hour mark. I'm going to be wrapping this stream up very soon, but I just had to come on here and talk a little bit about the film and see what some of you guys said. And I got to admit, pretty much overall, it's near enough like 100% positive from everyone that's joined the stream here, as of what the experience I saw at the cinema with the amount of people there. It's really awesome. I'm hoping it does well in box office numbers, because that will guarantee the future of this as becoming like a, you know, a subsequent series, which would be really awesome. We've just got a super chat there, which is brilliant timing as we're coming up to the end. Really appreciate it, Aspire3M. Very kind of you. Maybe in 2 years' time, I'll be doing another stream like this, and we'll be talking about Sonic 3. If you've been a subscriber for a while, you will remember I did 2 years ago a stream where we was talking about the first film. And here we are now. In terms of the channel content at the minute, I have got some new material in the pipeline at some point. Plan to eventually continue the Robotnik retrospective. A lot of work still to go in it. For those that may have joined the last live stream, you might have remembered I was planning on doing a giveaway for the 25k celebration. It's still in the pipelines. I haven't had the time to write and record the video yet, but yeah, I've got a really awesome giveaway celebration video. I'm going to be giving some really awesome stuff away to some people entering this sort of contest thing, whatever you want to call it. So, what else is people saying here? Yeah, that's quite common for films, at least ones that have subsequent sequels, where they release it in other countries subbed. Because if it's not going to be that popular, or they don't think it's going to be popular, it'll just get subbed. But as the first one was such a success, it's no wonder they went all out with the second one. I mean, just look at the marketing for this film compared to the first one. It's huge. It's like, it's like an explosion compared to like a little splash in a puddle compared to how much advertisement the first one had compared to this. The first one's kind of note to fame, I think, was the negativity it got with the designs when it was first revealed. But this sequel, when you think of just how much they've done with advertisement for it, Super Bowl commercials, the amount of merchandise tie-ins they've done with this is just, the first film got pretty much nothing. A couple of plushes, a Build-A-Bear, and that's like pretty much it. At least that's what we got here in the UK. There's so much movie merch they've done for this, and it really does look awesome. Did I expect Supersonic at the end? Unfortunately, I did, because McDonald's ruined it. So I knew he was going to be there. But if I hadn't have been ruined, I probably would have thought he was going to pop up at some point. If I could put a character from the comics into the movie, who would you put? So a character that's not already in the films, because that wouldn't make much sense. Metallics, we're going to say, because it looks like they're not going with it. But if not Metallics, then maybe Chaotix? Yes, McDonald's, or at least someone who works for McDonald's, took a photo of their toys that are coming out for the Happy Meal, and one of them was supposed to be a mystery. However, someone leaked it, and one of the mystery toys for their Happy Meals was Supersonic. And as soon as everyone saw that there was going to be a Supersonic Happy Meal toy, everyone was like, well, he's clearly going to be in the film then. Thanks, McDonald's. Shadow being copied with androids. Yeah, it could be interesting. Ancient Stone could make Metal Sonic. I have the OLED Nintendo Switch too. It's pretty awesome. I enjoy it a lot. If anyone wants to add me on Nintendo Switch, my friend code is in the description of this video, quite close to the top. I'm always up for adding more friends on the Switch. And if you ever see me on Mario Kart 8, feel free to join the online lobbies, because I've been playing that quite a lot lately. I really enjoyed the first film, Supreme Lord Ultra. I really did. I prefer this one now, but I still like the first one. I think the first one kind of blew a lot of people away with it. Firstly, being actually a good film. I think a lot of people were expecting it to be pants, essentially. But it did so much right. It really did. It focused on what it needed to. It was kind of like a simple plot. It wasn't overly convoluted, and the plot mostly focused around Sonic, which is what it should have been anyway. But with it being set on Earth, which is kind of like a common trope for these sort of films, it's kind of cheaper to make a film where, alien characters on Earth, because then that way you haven't got to do CGI alien worlds, essentially. I know there was a little bit of that at the start with Mobius and stuff, but most of it was on Earth. But it was really good. I was really impressed with it. I really liked the first one. Yeah, the classic Eggman reference was really cool. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be wrapping this stream up. It's been really awesome chatting to you all this Saturday evening for us here in the UK. I should have some material coming in the future, so keep eyes peeled. Really great to see that everyone's enjoyed the film as much as myself. whether any of you folks are going to go have repeat viewings. Maybe. I definitely will be picking this up. I'm going to be looking out to see if they do a limited edition 4K steelbook or something like they did with the first one. I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled for that. Enjoy the rest of your weekends, everyone. It's a really, really good time to be a Sonic fan right now, right? We've got Frontiers coming out late this year, so hopefully that's good. And we've had a really strong year for Sonic the Hedgehog. You're more than welcome, everyone, in the comments there. Eltro, T-Mac, Sonic Stefan, Sinus, Roblox, Awesome Cat, Ospiro. Thanks everyone for joining. If you're watching this on repeat, then thank you for watching the video also. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and all the best.